Have you ever felt like a video game was made specifically for you? Like it's seen what's inside your mind and knows exactly what you need right now? I've felt that way twice. Once when I played Life is Strange my senior year of high school, and now almost 10 years later playing Lost Records Bloom and Rage. This game made me giggle with delight more times than I can count. It made me sob on stream more than I ever have. It made me feel 16 again. Life is Strange has been part of my personality since I played it in 2016. I was working part-time at GameStop and was being berated by ads, both at work and when scrolling on IGN. I originally thought the ad campaign was really obnoxious. I didn't like the hipster teen aesthetic, but it was so persistent. I saw ads for the game everywhere for months, and when they finally released a physical edition of it with all 5 episodes, I decided to just play it and see what all the hubbub was about. The tryhard teen dialogue was off-putting at first, to say the least, but
why don't you go fuck yourselfie?
The moment I laid eyes on Chloe Price at the end of episode 1, I was hooked. The music was also phenomenal, perfectly tailored to my Tumblr indie girl tastes at the time. I flew through all 5 episodes over 2 or 3 nights, playing from the moment I got home from school right up until bedtime. Being a confused bisexual teen with little to no queer representation in games at the time, this was the first game I had ever played that I really saw myself in. The intimacy of hanging out in Chloe's room, waking up next to her, the distrust in her parents, feeling like all Max and Chloe had was each other, the power of their reunion after 4 years apart, wanting nothing more than to keep the two of them together at any cost. It was heart-wrenching. I loved those characters as if they were real people, and I still do. The ups and downs of their friendship felt true to experiences that I had had, that my peers had had. I've been looking for a game that gives me that same feeling again ever since then. Cut to December of 2023. Lost Records Bloom and Rage is teased for the first time at the Game Awards. I thought it looked good, but wasn't convinced by it since Don't Nod hadn't made a game like Life is Strange in so long. How could they recapture that same magic all these years later? I liked that it was centered around 4 girls, but the vibe was a little too if Stranger Things was about a teen girl group to hook me. Even up until release, I was indecisive about spending the money on it. $50 is a lot. These episodic games cost way less 10 years ago. I feel like I bought Life is Strange for $20, maybe? I streamed tape 1 of Lost Records the day after it released, on February 19th of 2025. I was unsure what to expect, but decided to put my faith in Don't Nod and trust that they had made a game worth playing. I didn't even realize that the structure was going to be 2 6 to 8 hour tapes rather than 5 3 to 4 hour episodes like they usually do until I installed the game. If you haven't played it, Lost Records Bloom and Rage is a game about 4 girls in Velvet Cove, Michigan who meet in the summer of 1995 and are forever changed by their friendships with each other. The game switches between that summer and their reunion in the present year of 2022. We play as Swan Holloway, an awkward, insecure teen who doesn't really have any friends. The writer's intent with her was to create a positive introvert, someone who's perfectly fine living life alone, who's happy to find friends and relate to people, but doesn't need others to complete their life. She also reads as potentially being on the spectrum, though the creators haven't said whether that was their intention or not. I loved having Swan as our protagonist. They made her a larger bodied character, which means the world to me. It's always wonderful seeing different body types portrayed in games, but having our main character be plus sized is major. She's also such a fun character to play as. I loved her positive nature, her excitement about all of her passions and hobbies. She put so many smiles on my face. Then we have Nora, our tall punk friend. Her look reads as Chloe Price coded, and personality-wise, they definitely share a few traits. Full of energy and chaos, Nora dreams of being a musician and moving to LA after graduation. Autumn is our group's voice of reason. She can also feel a little bit like an outlier at times, not wanting to go along with the others' crazy schemes. Present-day Autumn talks about feeling left out and wishing she had been included more back in 1995. She's a gamer and a skater girl, but feels the pressure of being a model minority. She's reluctant to dream big, deciding to be practical and pursue social work after high school instead of music. Kat may look like a sweet little angel baby, but she is crazy, filled to the brim with hellfire and spite, ready to knock out anybody who looks at her funny. She's our mystery, our wild card. The first time we meet her, she's coming to rescue us from an awful interaction with her sister Dylan and her sister's boyfriend, Corey. That interaction really sets the tone for Kat's whole character. She can be tough, but we also have a lot of sweet, tender moments with her. These 4 characters are the heart and soul of Lost Records. Watching their relationships with each other blossom, learning their dreams and insecurities, it's what keeps you playing. That and the mystery of present day. In 2022, none of the girls live in Velvet Cove anymore. Autumn has called for a reunion at the Blue Spruce, a bar Kat's sister used to work at. She has something to show all of us, something that can't safely be shared digitally. The game does a good job keeping us guessing, throwing us from teenage angst to adult exhaustion. It also does a good job showing what 27 years can do to a person. Nora especially is a shell of her former self, lacking the silly spirit we once knew. Overall, the gameplay is really similar to the Life is Strange games. The real novelty here is the camera mechanic, and no, it's not a Polaroid this time. Swan has a camcorder she received as a gift from family, and it is her baby, her pride and joy. She loves to record absolutely everything and wants to make a documentary about her summer, her life, her friends. Instead of traditional collectibles, the game lets you create memoirs. If you film enough objects that correspond to a certain theme, the game compiles them into a memoir you can watch back with Swan's commentary. I enjoyed this mechanic, but found myself getting tired of it by the end of the game. I'm not a huge collectibles person though, so this may appeal to others more than it did to me. Once I got to tape 2, I was too caught up in the story to care very much about the filming. I found myself making memoirs, but like not really watching them back anymore. I'm curious if other people had this same experience where they lost interest in the filming later on, or if it stayed enjoyable to them the whole way through. Lost Records feels like it learned a lot of lessons from the first couple Life is Strange games. The writing in Life is Strange is heavy-handed and riddled with tropes. It's all very 2010s HBO, if you know what I mean. Lost Records is a lot more graceful with its storytelling. There are subtle implications of sexual assault around Corey and Dylan, but it's all subtext. The characters also really feel like real people. Making the right choices was genuinely very difficult at times, as the situations are nuanced and it's hard to know what to say to them. At one point, Autumn literally has a panic attack, and you have to try and talk her down. I think the game does a great job realistically portraying the trials of finding your first real friend group. It's messy, it's invigorating, it's like discovering a new part of yourself. The girls would often laugh to each other about how weird they all are, and then be like, yeah, we're all weird. None of us fit in. And then burst into a fit of giggles. It was very cute. And it felt like we, the player, were getting to experience the highs of making friends for the very first time. It felt very pure and genuine. My favorite thing about the game is how unabashedly gay it is. This is the gayest game I have ever played by far. You, a female character, can only romance other female characters. There is no male option. It's gay or the highway. Kat, Nora, and Autumn are all romanceable. In my playthrough, I kissed both Nora and Kat. There are no repercussions for flirting with multiple girls, and there's no judgment about kissing girls or being gay in the friend group. Nora sometimes mentions how dating boys is stupid. Early on, she asks Swan if she has a boyfriend, and when she says no, Nora says she would totally kiss Swan if she were a guy. And then later, she kisses her anyway. Autumn is seemingly bi, having had previous boyfriends. I like that when you kiss the other girls, there's no worry or fear involved. They embrace the moment and enjoy it. In 2022, Autumn tells you that she was dating a woman online last year. Nora is now married to a woman. They are all queer. The representation in this game alone makes me love it so much. I can't see a game of this scale and scope being made by anyone else. I'm so glad Don't Nod was able to write and publish this game without outside help. Imagine if Square Enix was still involved. They didn't even want Alex Chen in Life is Strange True Colors to be bi. They never would have greenlit this. So thank you, Don't Nod, for making the video game that I have always dreamed of. Lost Records means everything to me, especially in the world we live in now. In the chat of every live showcase lately, all I see is people calling any game with a person of color or a queer character a DEI game, or woke, and boycotting it. Avowed got review bombed earlier this year for just letting your character choose their own pronouns. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I'm glad we still have creators like the teams at Don't Nod, ignoring all the noise and releasing magic. Lost Records Bloom and Rage feels like a miracle of a game, and all I want is for it to succeed so they can make more games like this. Tape 3? A sequel? Maybe? Please play it. Please tell your friends about it. Post about it online. Be loud about the games you love.